Hi guys, and welcome to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. On this week's show, we're going to be having a quick recap of the Mixology Cocktail R Evolution Kit that we unboxed earlier this week. We'll be having a quick look at that. If you missed the video earlier this week, check that out. We'll also be talking about the Monkey Shoulder Social Club and how you can win yourself some free tickets to come and join us and party at the Monkey Shoulder Social Club down in London. And also answering a question from Twitter about how to start a tasting group at your bar. So, for all this and more, keep listening to this week's BartenderHQ.com podcast.
Welcome to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BartenderHQ. Here's your host, David Eden-Sangwell.
So guys, first up this week, at Bartender HQ here, we received the Cocktail R Evolution Kit from Molecule R, which is a company that does molecular gastronomy stuff that you can use at home, and that's kind of cool because there's a lot of this stuff that you see on TV and really cool stuff that you can do with cocktails, and it's been very much in the realm of professionals for a long time, and this kit basically includes everything you need to get started and to make some awesome molecular cocktails. So, for example, some of the kind of flagship ones that they've got there, you can make bubbles of mojito, and you can chuck some fruit in there and that sort of thing as well. So that's using some reverse spherification. There's your basic spherification where you're making caviars of things. There's a couple of foams. I think the first one that I saw was like a lime foam that you can sit on top of margaritas and that kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's about 30 recipes. You get a DVD along with the kit. You get a pamphlet that gives you most of the instructions that you need. I think the remainder of that is on the DVD. You get 50 little sachets of the different, I'm going to call them texturers, because that's the word we were using in Dubai. I believe that might be specifically one kind. I think that might be what the El Bulli ones are called. But basically, it gives you a huge kit with all the tools you need as well, your little measuring spoons, a slotted spoon for pulling your caviars out and that sort of thing. And it's really cool. It's nice and comprehensive. You've got some pipettes in there as well for making your caviars. And yeah, it gives you a really good introduction. If you have never tried doing molecular drinks, I do encourage you to pick up one of these kits. I will put a link in the show notes so that you can grab them from Amazon. They arrived in about 2 days, really, really quick, great service, and hopefully tomorrow I'm actually going to get this kit out and have a play with it. Now, I have done some molecular stuff before, mainly while we were out in Dubai. We were using xanthan gum and methyl cellulose to sort of stabilise and thicken foams, which we then put into the ISI cream whippers, and they were basically sat on top of our cocktails. So we were doing lime and mint foam for our molecular mojitos, and that was sat on top of Bacardi 8-year-old with pressed fresh apple juice and a little bit of lime, I believe. And the other one we were doing was a molecular Bellini using a peach and verbena tea foam. Absolutely delicious. And that's something that I do recommend if you get the chance to try out some of these molecular things. Really, really good fun, and really blows your customers. And if you've got guests for a house party or something like that, will really blow them away. It's completely different to what people are used to seeing, completely different, completely out of the ordinary, and really sticks in their memory. So check that out. There'll be more videos coming soon showing you a little bit of what you can do with it. There's a great DVD that's included. I'll have put some clips up on the screen as well. So yeah, check it out, man. Really cool. Can't wait to get started. Now, the guys over at Monkey Shoulder Whiskey have got in touch with me, and they are offering some of our listeners and readers the chance to come and party with Monkey Shoulder down in London. And basically, we're giving you a pair of tickets away for free. There is the system on the website, so you can click through the link, and I'll include that in the show notes as well, to buy your tickets. They're only 15 quid, and that includes 3 Monkey Shoulder cocktails as well. So basically you're getting in for free and getting 3 cocktails at £5 each. And to get a cocktail for a £5 in London is unheard of, pretty much. They're a lot more expensive than that in most bars. So it's going to be a really cool party. It's got an aerodynamic theme. So the guys over at Monkey Shoulder are going to be having a whole bunch of themed cocktails. There's going to be activities going on throughout the night. I'm really, really trying to make sure that I can get down there myself, trying to make sure I can get a babysitter. And if we can, I will see you down there, and I'll high-five whoever wins these tickets. Now, all you need to do, I will put the link in the show notes. You basically need to tweet to me and Monkey Shoulder on Twitter and just tell us why you should win the tickets. It's as simple as that, and whoever gets the most favourites on their tweet will win the pair of tickets. It's going to be closing at midnight next Sunday, so you've got a full week. So get your entries in, guys, and hopefully I'll be seeing you down at the Monkey Shoulder Social Club party. Now, I asked this afternoon for any questions that you guys have got about bars, and I've had a tweet in from Inebriati, which is Inebriati Order. I'll pop the Twitter handle on the screen right now for any of you guys watching the video, but it's Inebriati Order. And they were asking, what's the best way to start a tasting club with a bar? Now, for me, there's a few different things that you need to consider. So, first of all, is your bar the kind of bar that you're going to have the kind of guests in that are going to run a tasting club? Now, if you run a nightclub, like the 80s bar that I work in at the moment, you would not want to run a tasting club there. It's not the kind of place. We have a limited selection of spirits. We don't have a large selection of craft beers. We've got a couple, but it's not the kind of place that you want to do. So first thing is you need to think about exactly what kind of clientele you get coming in, and if you have the capacity to actually run something like this. So just think about where you're working and whether it will actually work for the people that drink at your club or at your bar. Second of all, you are best off making sure you've got a bartender at least who can kind of take this and run with it a little bit, and is passionate about the drinks as well. Now, you're not going to get your bartender running this alone. You are going to need to obviously support them, especially if you're the bar manager there. You need to be supporting your bartenders with a project like this. However, it's also a very good idea to get in touch with some of the local reps for the different spirit companies. So, for example, Diageo will have a local rep that you can get in touch with, and they will probably be quite willing, especially once you've got a following, to come along and help out and bring some spirits and some drinks for people to try. They'll also probably have mixologists that they can send over who can make some awesome cocktails, and that's the sort of thing as well that you can continue to make once this rep has gone. Now, it's a great idea to have a tasting club like this, because obviously you're going to be bringing these guests back week after week or month after month, however often you decide to run your tasting clubs, and they're going to not just come in, have the tasting club and then leave. They're more than likely going to stay and have a drink with you afterwards, and they're also going to be the kind of people that are out there singing the praises of your bar and telling everyone else that they know why they should be drinking there and encouraging them to come along as well. So there are a lot of advantages to running something like this. Now, yeah, I mean, you can get in touch with the distilleries. That's a brilliant idea, because they will, obviously, the distilleries and the drinks distributors really, really want to push their own brands. So get in touch with them. They will almost certainly be able to send someone over for you, or at least give you background information, tasting notes, for example, on the kind of stuff that they're selling. So give that a try. That's a good way to get started. The other thing is, obviously, it depends what you want people tasting. If you want them tasting whiskies or tasting craft beers, that's one thing. If you want them tasting different spirits, trying different liqueurs and finding out a little bit more about kind of the structure of cocktails, that's something completely different. And then if you want people actually getting into trying various different cocktails, you might not want to go down the club route initially, but maybe make up a full-size cocktail, pour it out into shooter glasses and just hand it round to your guests. And that way they can all try a new cocktail that they might not have otherwise tried. You've only made one drink to give out. And so that could be a good way into it. And then maybe if you're looking to get more guests coming to a club or come to your first tasting club meeting, that could be a good way to engage with your guests. Just make up a large cocktail, or take round spirits for people to try, and say, well, this is what we do once a month, this is what we do once a week on a Tuesday night. If you fancy coming along, this is how much it costs, this is how, what we'll be doing, this is the kind of things. We've got such and such a person coming along from the local distillery soon, and he's bringing along his own products. I think that's probably the best ways, but I'd love to hear what any of you guys, if you run a tasting club, what do you think? Tweet us on at BartenderHQ, and tag in our friends as well over at Inebriati Order. And let us know what you would do, and if Inebriati Order have got any ideas as well, because I think this is something that they do already, and they may be looking for some extra ideas. Then I'd love them to get in touch with us as well. If you just put in the hashtag BartenderHQ podcast, and then we can all see and join in the discussion. So for today, we'll wrap it up about there. Join me on all the social media channels. I mentioned a little while ago that I was on about 100 Twitter fans. We're now over 400. Thank you, guys. Come and join us at BartenderHQ on Twitter. Come and join the conversation. You can see me in cosplay, because we were chatting about the free comic book day that was last weekend. We've got all sorts of stuff on there. Avengers cocktails, as I said last week, we've now got 4 of those on there. If you've got any cool ones, then just get in touch. And don't forget, sign up at the bartenderhq.com. Get your free ebook of 10 killer cocktails. There are some really good ones in there, especially the liquid bubblegum. You've got to try that thing. Once you sell one of those on a night, you will not stop selling them all night long, and your sales will go through the roof. Until next time, though, guys, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, and follow at BartenderHQ, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BartenderHQ.